What is going on, everyone? We are back, FL Teams Live. Isaac Edelman here alongside Jeremiah Hensley and Jeff Macolino. Good to be back. It's now week 6 of the NFL season. Believe it or not, we are flying through this. And with that said, we are going to break down week 5. But before we get going, guys, make sure to follow at FL Teams on social media. Hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe, leave a rating if you're on the podcast platforms. Do it all. We appreciate every single piece of engagement. That will motivate us to do even more shows relating to everything Florida sports related, because that's what FL Teams is, your go-to one-stop shop for all Florida sports coverage. Before I get into my breakdown, Jeff, how are you doing today?
You talking about my recovering from the USF game or just in general?
I mean, the Lightning won. How about that?
The Lightning won. I'm happy with that. Good first game. I'm a Saints fan, so 34-0 is not a bad way to spend a day. And I'm 24-hour rule with USF, man. They're coming back. Homecoming against the Florida Jamaica Coast something. I don't know, whatever the hell school they're playing.
All right, we're going to move on from Jeff now. Jeremiah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Super excited. Nice to have all three of us back together again.
Yeah.
So looking forward to it, man. You know what? Can't complain. If you saw my little video, the Dolphins game was ugly, but it's a W, so we move on.
Yeah. So with that said, look, I'm going to get into what I wanted to talk about, and that actually is the Ravens. Here's the situation. You can't look at the box score with this thing. On paper, a lot of people had the Ravens making the playoffs this year. I don't think it's going to happen, but it actually isn't going to be because Lamar Jackson's holding the team back. Let me just first read off Lamar Jackson's stat line this week. And let me make this clear. Do not make a judgment yet. Let me explain. 22 of 38 passing, 236 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Doesn't look good, and when you only put up 10 points, it makes sense. But I don't know if you guys saw the film from Lamar Jackson. He was throwing darts all game against the Steelers' defense, and no one could catch the passes. My point here is you need to look into the Ravens because Lamar Jackson is not getting the help he needed. Heading into the season, I thought Lamar Jackson was getting the help he needed. I mean, you sign Odell Beckham, but that's basically a depth wide receiver, right? Mark Andrews, still the same tight end he's always been. Zay Flowers, I think, is pretty good. And then you have Rashad Bateman, Devin Duvernay, Nelson Aguilar, all solid receivers. But some way, somehow, this offense is insanely weak. And yes, it's because there's no running help. So basically, it's just Lamar Jackson running the ball. And then you're going to hope that he could pass the ball. And we saw this week against the Steelers that Lamar Jackson is not getting the help he needs. He is literally fighting for his life. Lamar Jackson's stat line is really distracting you because he's not getting the help from his offense. And that's concerning because if you look at this AFC North division, it's weak, surprisingly, right? We thought the Bengals would win this division, and no, the Bengals, even though they won this week, are pretty bad. So my concern is, of course, Lamar Jackson not getting help, but it becomes more of a concern, I think, as the season goes by because you see how weak this division is. As the weeks go on, I think this division is showing more and more weaknesses, and that's going to cause Raven fans to get more upset because they're going to soon find out, if they haven't already, that they could actually win the division this year. But it's not too late. They're 3-2, not that bad. So that's basically all I wanted to talk about because, look, we know upsets are happening, blah, 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 but this is not just luck, right? There's actually a reason the Ravens are losing, and it's because Lamar Jackson's not getting help. So with that said, the Ravens are actually tied for first in the division, but because they lost to the Steelers are in first place. So the fact that the Ravens, they're playing terrible and they're first in the division, I wanted to mention that because they need help. and they don't need that much help to win this division. That's all I wanted to say.
I'm glad you touched on it. Baltimore, whoever runs their personal trainer, their health, their fitness, whatever, like that dude should have been fired 5 times ago. You talk about the Ravens. Again, they've started more players this year in the NFL than any other team. Again, they're decimated by injury. Every year by week 3 or week 4, they're decimated by injury. No, you're right. They should adjust on this, but it's just a mess, and it happens every year. For those who gamble, I won't say much that I know about the NFL. Anytime the Ravens and the Steelers play each other, take the points. Just take the points. It doesn't matter. That is a true college rivalry in the NFL. The Ravens and the Steelers play each other tough every game, but I think both those teams are in trouble. So, Jeff, any take on the Ravens as we run through?
No, I was I was going to say the Steelers are the worst first place team in football, but then I remembered the Bucks are probably not much better. No, I was going to talk about exactly what Isaac did, and I'm not going to talk about it. He said it. He said it really well. And by the way, the Bengals, 1 game out, they're going to win the divisions, Joe.
The NFL has established parity. When you look at the standings, everybody's within a game or 2. I mean, there's really only a couple of teams in coming into week 6 that you could say are pretty much out of this thing. But outside of that, I mean, anything can happen. So a couple of things jumped out at me. One of those being here in Philly, and I watched that game at 4:00. The Philadelphia Eagles, they're not winning in a pretty way, but they're getting better every week, and they keep winning, and it's decisive. And it goes back to the offensive and the defensive line. In the second half, Matt Stafford had 0 time to get rid of the ball. First half, he was getting Kupp involved, Puka Nacua. All those guys were getting out. They were getting short slants. The second half, it looked like Jordan Davis and that defensive line just made him uncomfortable. They didn't get sacks, but they made him uncomfortable. What I'll go back to, and it is the one thing that blows my mind is here's how they're doing this. It's time of possession. The Philadelphia Eagles are grinding the clock on offense. They haven't been a big play offense. If you're looking to this point in the season, Philadelphia is averaging 36.5 minutes per game of possession to their opponents who are at 24.7. You're averaging almost 12 minutes more per game, almost a quarter of football more with the ball in your hands. And one of the big reasons is the brotherly shove, right? It is what it is. I don't, bottom line is this. 93% of the time that they have ran that play, it's resulted in a touchdown or a first down. 93% of the time. You see teams trying to emulate it, and it's not working. It's actually the league rules committees looking into it because of the injuries that other teams are. As
they should.
Yeah. Well, but here's the difference. Philly is uniquely designed for this. You have a quarterback who's a rushing quarterback who, if you listen to the game on Sunday, can squat 600 pounds. So you have Jalen Hurts who squats 600 pounds. You have an offensive line that averages 325 pounds. The left side of their line averages almost 350.
Yeah, and dives at the knees of the defensive.
Dives at the knees, and then he's pushing over top. It's time of possession. It's 3rd and 4th down conversions. That's how Philadelphia is grinding this. So I think that's something that come out to me. Their defense is slowly getting better, but I don't know if there's an answer. And, when you're 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and you can convert at the rate that they are, it's really hard to get somebody off the field.
Can I quickly tell you the answer?
Yeah.
Someone needs to take an ejection and a suspension and fucking deck Jalen Hurts. That's it. That's all. Hope you had a ball.
That could absolutely be it.
I had to interrupt. No. That's what's going to happen.
So, and then I'll move from Jalen Hurts to, I just recently noticed that, the trade deadline's coming up. So noticing the trade deadline's coming up, you hear names and you see people floated around. I'm going to grab another quarterback from nowhere, a guy that I think if ever there was a year for him to trade spots and to make a difference, Please, Minnesota, just set Kirk Cousins free. Set him free. So far this year, a 1-4 Minnesota team, and it is not Kirk Cousins' fault. This one is not Kirk's fault. He's completing 70% of his passes, throwing for almost 300 yards a game. He has 13 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Kirk Cousins is balling.
He's second in the NFL in passing yards. Unbelievable.
He's crushing it.
Where should he go?
But if I'm the Jets, I'm ringing the phone. You know, if I'm shit, where do you go there? I mean, you got to think maybe Atlanta, right? Any of these teams that are getting close to this. But if Kirk Cousins could get set free at this point, because now you're putting Justin Jefferson on the IR.
I think if there's a quarterback injury, backup quarterbacks this year are surprisingly weak. That's a subject we shouldn't be talking about. But now that I think about it, the backup quarterbacks this year are somehow weaker than usual because the veterans are still here, but they're just worse. Like Tyrod Taylor, Bridgewater he's not even in the NFL anymore. You're losing these guys. The funny thing is, you used to have. Well, Minshew's now a starting quarterback. I was going to say
he's the bulk innings guy.
Yeah, he is. He's a middle reliever.
The opener.
You used to have, the Andy Daltons as backups, but as better, and they're still playing, but worse. So that's kind of a weird subject to touch on. But the backup quarterbacks, this year are not the best. And like Geno Smith used to be a backup. He's now a starter. There's no strong backups where quarterback injuries are bound to happen. But the question is, do the Vikings want to move on?
With Jefferson being gone for the next 4 games, you've got to look at this at the point of like, if Cousins is not your long-term solution, you're never going to get anything more from him than you are right now. He's playing at the highest level he's played in years. You do have teams like the Jets who need a quarterback, right? There's still teams that, dude, if I'm the Patriots, I'm listening. Mac Jones is garbage. Jeff, I want your personal take on this. The last 10 quarters of football, 2.5 games, the Patriots have managed 10 points. 10 points.
Yeah. Yeah, 0 the last 4 quarters. Well,
and 3 the one
7.
before that, and then only 5 and 7 against it's horrendous what's going on. There's not a playmaker there. You watch the Saints game, I know closely. We haven't played the Pats yet. Give me the run, man. Like
you did play the Patriots.
Well, I didn't think so because it was a walk away. But literally,
it was a really close game.
So
they called Dr. Strange's first down short. Remember the pitch?
Oh, the bounce back on the
it wasn't a walk away.
See, I forget about that already.
Yeah, no. What the Saints did was walk away from the Pats.
So what did you see?
I saw an inept offense, and I also saw the Patriots, which made the Saints offense look like the 2011 Saint. No. I'm talking about successful teams, not teams that are flash in the pans. I said it. Mac Jones looked really bad. However, I've never seen a quarterback. This is his 3rd year, right? So the one takeaway, my takeaway list is Justin Fields, the Patriots, and Jordan Love. 3rd-year quarterbacks wrought through that list, right? So the Bears, let's look at Justin Fields, who's had 2 excellent games back-to-back. They made a concerted effort to get him a receiver. They traded away the number 1 overall pick to get DJ Moore and another first rounder. Like, good trade for the Bears. That's looking good considering the Panthers are probably going to have the number 1 pick that I think is now going to be the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, they made a concerted effort to say, we need to get this guy weapons. And he's looking better. Mac Jones, what they have done to his career is abhorrent. They have never given him a damn receiving weapon. Jacoby Myers, pretty solid receiver. They let him walk. They got washed up Juju Smith-Schuster. They got washed up, what's his name? From
Devontae
Miami.
Parker.
Yeah, there you go. He's not good, by the way. He got shut down by Paulson Adebo all day. Mike Gesicki, who it's starting to look like I was wrong about him. I thought maybe he was better. Hunter Henry, and frankly, Mac Jones overthrew him several times in this game. However, the offensive line is also trash. Saints are in his face all the time. And the Saints have shown the last 2 games their pass rush is not elite. Their defense is elite, but it's because the back end, if they're getting pressure on you, you've got zero chance. The only chance you have against the Saints is to hold the ball long enough. Baker Mayfield ordered his Starbucks, read a magazine, jerked off, and then threw a touchdown pass to whoever the fuck he wanted to. Sorry. But that's how the Saints-Bucks game went, because the Saints couldn't breathe on Baker Mayfield, and they also got away with a lot.
Here's the problem. I hate these offenses that are not two-headed, right? If you know Mac Jones is not going to generate any offense, at least have a solid running game. And this is not 2015. I mean, look.
Yeah, they don't. Rashad Stevenson had a couple decent runs. Their first possession. So look, coming into this week, there was national news that the Saints and the Steelers their offensive coordinators were on the hot seats. They didn't produce. The Steelers still didn't produce. The Saints did. But regardless, the first possession for the Saints, Olave drops a ball that he should have caught. The Saints have to punt. Patriots take over at their 5-yard line. Stevenson runs for 8 yards on first down. The next 2 plays are YOLO throws down the field. It's like, get the damn first down. What is going on with Bill O'Brien in this? Like, again, it's like you see one offense that is just completely mismanaging its weapons, and you see another one that, first of all, doesn't try to get weapons, and second of all, just doesn't. 2nd and 2 from your 13-yard line. You just gained 8 yards. Run the damn ball. Pick up the first down. Then do your YOLO throws down the field.
It's like Belichick can't find an OC. I mean, he's
can't
just trying
find
to
an
plug
OC,
his old guys in there, and they're doing nothing.
As a GM, is a failure. He's a failure. He's not getting any offensive talent. Stevenson's good. Hunter Henry, Gesicki, they're probably above average tight ends. They got 0 receiving talent. They've got minimal offensive line talent. I don't even know. Mac Jones could be a superstar if you put him on Miami.
Here's the thing. You know, with the Patriots, it's fine to be a failure because they've had better years than anyone. But then why would Bill Belichick still be coaching? He doesn't need the stress. And also, you're ruining Mac Jones's career, right? Because if it wasn't for those 2 scenarios, honestly, of course there's something wrong. You want to see your team win. But there's really nothing wrong with losing, because the Patriots literally had the best generation of football that, at least for the next 50 years, I'd hope no one's gonna outlast. So there's nothing wrong with losing, but no, not the Dolphins. I'm sorry, Jeremiah. No. But here's the thing. It is a problem when you think about Mac Jones as a person, as a quarterback. And then why would Bill Belichick want this unneeded stress of dealing with this losing team?
Now if you're Belichick, he can't go out like this.
Right.
He could have bowed out with grace a year and a half ago and then just kind of said done. But now there almost has to be a redemption arc.
Yeah.
Or it's just going to taint you. But you do wonder if Mac Jones isn't Sam Darnold, right? I mean, Darnold with the Jets was kind of the same way of just thrown to nothingness. And who really knows what they would have been. Once you break a young quarterback, it's really hard to rebuild that.
Yeah.
You know, with the Patriots, it comes down to really just this thing. How bad do you want? Believe me, Bill Belichick wants to win, but it seems like with this culture, you're stuck under Mac Jones. We saw last year Bill Belichick put in Bailey Zappi, who looked good at times, but it's obvious that the Patriots are stuck in this time period where they're not really playing bad and they're not really playing good.
They're playing really bad.
Oh,
right
they're
now.
really bad this year, Isaac.
They're number 32 in the power. They'd lose to the Panthers.
They're bad
right now.
But here's the thing, though. They're not bad skill-wise. I'm telling you, they're not. Look at their roster, though. You can't tell me they have a bottom 5 roster in the NFL.
On
The
offense,
Patriots?
they might.
Yeah,
I don't think
have a
I don't
bottom
think there's
3
an
roster
offense you
on
can
offense.
find that has less
combined-
playmakers.
Combined, they don't.
Oh, I disagree with you.
Offensively and defensively, you think so?
So let me throw
combined. But offensive, they might be 32.
Yeah. So, like, if I threw out any random team in the NFL right now, I bet you could give me a guy that would be your go-to. Like, you got to get a first down. Who you throwing to?
Yeah.
You can't answer that question in New England.
Yeah.
Well, the answer is Hunter Henry, and
I
that's
guess.
not a good answer.
Right,
Yeah,
not a good answer, but he's probably the best
actually,
of your option.
You're right, Jeff. There's a clear answer, but it's not a good answer. Hunter
Right.
Henry, without a debate, is the answer.
He's
Matt
a good
Jones
number
It's all
3
you
and
got.
4 option.
Right.
He's not a good number
Yes.
1.
He's not
I
Gronk.
agree, and that's
Right.
what makes the Dolphins so good. Because let's first break this down. When's the last time the Dolphins had the 13th best rusher in the NFL? Raheem Mostert. Oh wait, they also have the second best rusher in the NFL, Devon A-Chain. Right. So even if it wasn't for A-Chain, having
Isn't
a
he
Dolphins,
going on IR?
Mhm.
yes, but that's a story for another time.
Perfectly fine.
Having the 13th best rusher in the NFL is something the Dolphins haven't done in years. Plus, they have the second best rusher. By the way, Jeff Wilson is back this week. That's key.
Yeah,
The Dolphins needed a third running back because Mostert and Wilson are never healthy together. You just need somebody that keeps coming off the IR to plug back in.
They drafted the right guy.
The interesting thing about Wilson, though, is when he stays on the field, because Jeff gave us a face like he wasn't all that. He's good. Do you disagree?
He's
Jeff?
solid. No, he's dependable.
Oh, okay.
He's not special, but he's dependable.
He could be with this Dolphins offense. The fact that no, seriously, Jeremiah can back me up on this one. I think with this Dolphins offense, you could be special as a running back.
The defensive lines, Jeff, are so off balance, and the front seven that
Seriously, Jeff,
our offensive line is not good enough to give guys the holes that they're running through.
I'm glad your coach stopped smoking weed enough to realize that he can run the football. I'm not judging someone for smoking weed. I'm just saying last year he seemed to smoke so much he forgot that running the football was even an option. So
this year, man, he's hanging his hat on it.
Let's call him a mad genius. I'd call him like a common sense guy who fell on his face last year.
Luckily, Jason Sanders hasn't had the chance to kick a.
He'll find a way to screw us soon. So, all right. So we went to Justin Fields. You gave us Mac Jones. We had another third-year quarterback in there, Jeff.
Oh, Jordan Love. Yeah, no, he's a dumpster fire. It is his first year getting to play, but his decision making is terrible. He made so I've gotten to watch him a few times. He came back against a 17-0 game against the Saints. And his strategy is basically throw up a ball high in the air, deep down the field, and hope that your guy comes up with it or gets pass interference penalty. And if you're going up against backup safeties and cornerbacks like he was against the Saints, you'll get a couple pass interferences. Or actually, I don't think he got a single catch. I think they were all pass interferences. But it's like that's not how pro ball works. Like it's just not. Like I get it. And by the way, a fundamental flaw in football at all levels is the underthrown deep ball. The receiver stops on a dime to come back for the ball. How the hell is the defender supposed to not hit him? It's garbage.
Impossible.
They need the brotherly push or whatever the hell, brotherly shove, whatever the hell those idiots from Philadelphia call that play. And I mean idiots because everyone who lives in Philadelphia has an IQ under their center's jersey number.
It's only getting worse. As you know, the Phillies are winning, so it's.
Oh, God, I hate that city. Anyways, that being said, that should be outlawed. As far as I knew, it was always illegal to do that pushing. Plus, the cut blocking is dirty as hell. Anyways, the other factor is the pass interference rules need to. If it's a crappy underthrown ball, no pass interference. No, that's not a. You don't get a benefit, and that's Jordan Love's whole strategy. It seems like to me, throw the ball up high, deep, and hope you get a flag or a miraculous catch. I thought he was maybe making progress early in this year. He faced off against Justin Fields in week 1, and it looked like one quarterback was taking the next step, and one was just going to go to the rubbish heap. It's flip-flopped.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I'm interested to see. Justin Fields has played a couple of defenses that are little suspect, so I'm not crowning him.
So with that said, Jeff, in my opinion, not really a good slate of games this week. I want to give you guys under a minute. Just what's the game that I'm not going to say what's the game that you're going to watch. What's the game you're most looking forward to this week? We'll start with Jeremiah. Just under a minute.
We're all pulling up our schedule.
Yeah, let me pull up the schedule.
Yeah,
hey, while he's pulling that
fine.
up, let me give you our group.
Actually, wait. While you guys
I already got it. I already got it right there. Quick.
Wait, while you guys pull it up, give me 1 second to just say this. Another week is going to go by with me not turning on Amazon because the Broncos are playing the Chiefs. Thursday night football cannot get any worse. These games are not just bad. I'm too lazy to turn on Amazon because these games are bad.
But by the way, 50 wins, 46 wins, 43 wins. Y'all getting ready to be punished. By the way, my son is kicking your butts too.
I think it's only the last place winner, but we decided on that. But it's okay.
No, I think we said the choice is I can use second place as an associate, but my son is tied for first place, so technically.
Yeah.
All right,
anyway. So I got them. I'm going to give you two quick. 1, Colts Jags. No Anthony Richardson, but the Jaguars coming off the back-to-back weeks in London. They're both tied at 3-2 in the division. Colts going into Jacksonville. Jacksonville looked like they got their offense started back up a little bit, but the Colts got Jonathan Taylor back last week, and Moss is still stepping up. It's going to be interesting to see what that game brings. And then more of just morbid curiosity, the 49ers going to the Browns. The Browns defense, the Browns were on bye last week. The Browns defense has been unbelievable so far this season. They're going to play a juggernaut on Sunday. That'll be an interesting game just to see if that offense in San Francisco continues to roll the way that they have been against a competent defense.
Jeff?
Well, it's definitely the Vikings-Bears. No, I'm kidding. No, I'll shout out. I'm very curious about the Seattle-Cincinnati game.
No.
Seahawks 3-1, the Bengals 2-3. They started 4-4 last year, won their last 8. I mean, the Bengals, unfortunately for them, have a slow start mentality. It's kind of a big game. Get to 500, get everything back up and running. And also for the Seattle, I mean, at 4-1, you've got a nice shot at the postseason as a wild card if you can't win the division. So that's an interesting one. But the biggest one, to me, is the Monday night game, Dallas and the Chargers.
You stole my game.
You shouldn't have gone last. Yeah, but that's a big. I don't know what either of these teams are.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Let me just input before I'll let you finish it off. Actually,
No.
All I'll say is the Cowboys have been terrible this season, but when they win big. And the Chargers, I'm very high on them. They've won their last 2 games, but then they lose to the Titans. The Dolphins wasn't a bad loss. Matter of fact, they almost won that game. But again, it's another team that we don't know much about. I'm going to give this one to the Chargers, but I'm interested to see what the Cowboys do because at some point they're going to need to be a not bad team. They already lost to a Cardinals team that's atrocious. So, the Cowboys, I think they're going to be on the road, but they have to find some footing this week, and it's against a Chargers team that also needs to find some footing. So I'll let you finish it off, though. That was a game I wanted to watch.
Yeah, no, I'm picking the Chargers to win the game too, but it'll tell a lot, I think, about both teams because it's It's kind of an important game for both of them. Dallas, if they lose, they're going to fall, 3 games behind the Eagles this early in the season. They're just scratching for a wild card. The Chargers, I don't think are competing for the division, but the wild card is going to be tough. 2 and 3 is going to put you in a tough spot. They're coming off a bye week, so they've also got, I was going to say, the worst coach in the NFL, but Josh McDaniels made a real strong case last night in a win that he might be the worst coach.
Oh, by the way,
Staley's only won by accident. Like, he had nothing to
Josh
do with
McDaniels
that, right?
did last night too.
By the way, Eckler is back this week.
Yes, Eckler is, but you're without Mike Williams, and that's going to be interesting to see what happens there. I'll tell you this: Dak Prescott is a guy that I've just never got. I haven't, and he has looked horrendous the last 2 games. I mean, he looked really, really bad.
That's been his whole career, hasn't it?
I think it kind of has, but it's really weird because there's still been all this love around Dak. When I'm looking at the sidelines and saying, let's see what Trey Lance can do. It looked bad, dude. He looked horrible. Crazy. He looked really, really bad against the Niners.
Hey, one last thing to tie it into FL teams. Mario Cristobal is thankful that Josh McDaniels and Brandon Staley are head coaches in the NFL because you talk about the worst game managing ever.
Well, I'll end it on this note. I had a very fantastic weekend going to not just a very good high school football game on Friday night, but on Saturday, the Canes game, I had the perfect angle. I don't mean to brag, but I think I had the best angle of that touchdown out of anyone in the nation.
Yeah, he gave himself up short of the goal line.
Yeah,
I saw it.
That was a very good comment. Yeah. You had to, first of all, have been at the game, which many people left because they thought the Canes had won. And you also have to have had your camera out, and you had to have had good seats. And I checked those boxes. And then Sunday's game, get to see the Dolphins. Look, it wasn't that flashy, but hey, it's football on a Sunday. But with that said, look, just some housekeeping notes. Of course, thank you, Jeff and Jeremiah, for coming on. A big week for us. We have a big Florida matchup. You know me, big FAU guy. Jeff, a big USF guy. Both of those teams face off in Tampa. We'll have our photographer and videographer, Stephen Thigh, at the game to create some amazing video content and photo content. And then our reporter, Brett James, will be in the press box. He'll be going to the press conference, getting some articles out for us. So that's why you should be following us. Check out our website, flteams.com. And, of course, the NBA season starting up. NHL started tonight. The Lightning got the dub. Follow us because, again, it's not going to be light content. We're going to have heavy content because this is the sports season back up. Baseball playoffs, no Florida teams. We'll still talk baseball if we want. And most importantly, NFL season really on a roll. So with that said, follow FL Teams. Any final words, guys?
Jeff, I've got the punishment. The punishment is whoever loses has to get Jimmy Butler's haircut.
Oh, I've got an career. I can't do it. Oh, wait, yeah, you two are going to lose, not me.
We'll make your son sport the Jimmy Butler.
Hey, Isaac, here's my closing comment.
That's how we're going to end it. All right, guys. I knew you were going to press that button. I saw your face and you hovering. I knew that was going to happen. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Have a good rest of your night.